As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
One of the worst performances of my career, and they never doubted it for a second.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
I believe there's a hero in all of us that keeps us honest, gives us strength, makes us noble.
You just gotta keep living, man. Livin.
Son of a bitch. He stole my life.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Welcome back to the Shot by Shot podcast, where today we're talking finally the long-awaited sixth Final Destination sequel, Final Destination Bloodlines. And it's, at least for me, this is a franchise that kind of traumatized me as a kid when I watched it, probably way too young. And it's been like 14 years since the last one, waiting for them to finally go back to this. And it's a franchise that I think ended quite on a high, I guess. Not the best film, but like the way it ties in as a franchise as a whole was just a really good ending point for it. So I was a bit concerned about them going back to it after so long, to not really mess up that timeline of the films. Not that continuity is really a huge importance in these films, but it's quite difficult to kind of freshen up a franchise. Well, 6 films in, but these films are there's quite an easily like kind of structure to follow with them. But I think Bloodlines does kind of successfully manage to freshen it up. Kind of goes away from the normal routine of these movies, and it's by no means, I guess, the best in the franchise, I'd say. But I'd happily take a bunch of these. It's just like this really fun time at the movies, and the kills are great. Some of the best kills in the franchise. Just a really fun movie. I think for a Final Destination movie in 2025, I'm really satisfied.
This is like a rare franchise where if they announce now, like Marvel do, oh, we're gonna make 4 more, so there's 10 Final Destination films. I wouldn't really care or be mad at that because you're not supposed to take these seriously. They don't take themselves seriously. If you give different directors it's such a good format for different directors to mess with. So yeah, if one came out every few years, I'd always be going back to see them. There's one stinker out of 6, which is a bit miraculous. That stinker is very easily watchable though, and if someone asked now to put it on, I'd be like, sure, because there's a lot of the only big letdown with that film is that the gore is terrible. It's like CG 2020,
It's
2010s.
classic 2010s, yeah.
Yeah,
But it's 80 minutes long.
Funnily enough, even though it's
Easy
2010, it's probably aged the worst because there's a lot of like weird racism
Yeah.
in that film as well. So there's like a horrible spectacle. That's a good one to watch. This one's back to like the sequels before that though. It's quite self-referential, but never in like an eye-rolly way. I think in this franchise, being self-referential helps, especially with Tony Todd's character, who gets such an iconic send-off in this film. It was like too good to be true the way he like leaves this franchise. So yeah, I'd have it up there as one of my favorites. I don't think it is my favorite, but the kills are so drawn out in this film compared to some of the others that they're really gonna like stay in my memory. And we'll get on it later, but there is one in this that I think is up there, one of the best.
Yeah, this is an interesting franchise. A few years ago, I watched it for the first time. I think all of them are good. I think no, that's a lie. 4 is bad, and I remember because 4 is called it's called The Final Destination.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I accidentally watched that as the first one because it was on Netflix. I was like, oh, I've never seen these films before, so I watched that thinking it was number 1, which was funny.
That's probably happened to a lot of people.
I went back like 2 months later and realized I'd watched the wrong one.
It's so bad that it's the only one that's not on Netflix right now. They have all the other sequels.
I was gonna say that is that like a rights issue or is it just so terrible that
I think they don't want it on their platform.
I think 1, 2, 3, and 5 are all good films. I think I have them all at like 3 stars. I think Bloodlines is a solid return to the franchise. I just thought it was kind of in the middle, going from doing a double feature of 1 and then Bloodlines is like such a visual whiplash because 1 looks it looks pretty good. I mean, it looks solid, and then Bloodlines just has this glossy, shiny, ugly, contemporary look to it that a lot of these films have, and it looks really ugly. um, which is a shame. And I think one does a lot better with its narrative and its relations, and then you kind of, as you get further down into these ones, like they don't necessarily care about them as much, and some of them try but really don't try at all. And it is a bit pathetic, and like all the CGI gore is like it's like some of the kills. I'm just like, this is just how much CGI gore can we put in this as possible, and we'll see what works. And in the end, I think in Bloodlines, like Daniel said, there's one really good kill, and the rest are just kind of yeah, whatever. And the ending, obviously, we'll discuss and we'll go into spoilers, but that was quite funny. But yeah, this franchise, I do want to go back and visit 2, 3, and 5 again. Yeah, the ending to 5 is really good. That's like the highlight of that film, and some kills. But yeah, solid franchise.
Yeah. I think the highlights are like when James Wong. I think he's like the guy in this franchise for me. Because like you said, he does kind of establish those relationships. And they do it in this movie. They're a bit more going off what he's doing with his relationships, but they actually know each other, and I think it's much better when they do that. I think the big problem I have with this film is really just the elephant in the room, like you're saying, is that it's a John Watts produced film. A bit of a stray there, but he made the worst Spider-Man trilogy, so I'm gonna point him out. And the directors, one of them made Leprechaun Origins, which is one of the worst horror movies ever made. And the other guy made the live-action Kim Possible movie. Um, Not the great, the greatest
Oh
resume
dear.
going into this. It was solid though. I think Final Destination is such an interesting binge because you really get a glimpse at the development of these like mid-budget studio horror films throughout the 21st century. I think, like you said, Final Destination one. I mean, it came out in 2000s, but it's really a 90s movie in its style. Where I think we just watched I Know What You Done Last Summer, and even when the 90s films aren't very good, there is kind of just a baseline of some decent craft to them, and they look good, but it's very much still from that part of like the 90s craze of slashers following the popularity of Wes Craven and Scream and stuff like that. 2 and 3 are kind of more staples of early 2000s, I think. Um, and then you have 4 and 5, which are like very much products of the time. Like Daniel was saying, like you get these really horribly dated CGI moments with 3D where they're just forcing it in because like every movie from 2000 and what 2006 to like 2011 just forced in 3D stuff for no reason. Because of James Cameron probably, the only guy that knows how to use 3D properly. But yeah, just very sleazy sequels, which kind of I think guess kind of altered people's opinions of just this franchise as a whole. When I think the first ones are kind of a bit more than just kills, or at least 1 and 3 are. And then you have Bloodlines, which is this very much amalgamation of kind of studio horror, where I don't think I wouldn't say it's particularly well made. It's still full of like CGI blood and effects and stuff. But it does have that. It has the time to kind of reflect on what works and what doesn't work in these movies. It's been 14 years, and it's not a movie that's churned out quickly just to capitalize as a sequel. It's a kind of movie made to the fans. Not that it's really doing like the kind of fan sequel remake stuff that other horror franchises have been doing. I feel like this does feel like studios are a bit more aware of just what the fans want from their movies now than they did 15 years ago when they were doing 4 and 5. I think only the really big moment is the Tony Todd one, and that's just a great scene though. I don't really feel that as like bad fan service. I think they were very aware that he was very sick coming towards the end of his life, and that's just such a great scene. But yeah, any more non-spoiler thoughts before we go into fully spoiling this movie? Wait, what did you give the movie actually? It says like a
Two
solid
point
3.
2.5 out of 5. may I don't know, may change. I don't know. It was yeah, just not a lot for me.
I gave it a 4, which I will acknowledge is recency and cinema bias. I've literally just watched it, but I did acknowledge in my review if I watched any Final Destination film apart from the fourth one in the cinema, it probably would have got a similar rating because I've never seen one in the cinema before, and it is the perfect cinema watch. If I'd have seen this at home, it might have got like a 3 or something. I can see it moving down in the future.
Yeah, we're just heading to spoilers then.
What you talk about, 1 and 2 definitely feel like their own separate thing. Well, obviously 2, there's a continuation with the characters as well. They feel very even 2 feels a little bit 90s. The paranoia in 2 is really good, I think, when they're all holed up in that safe house, like terrified of dying. They do feel a little bit more, from memory, 1's played almost completely straight compared to the rest. I know you two have just seen it recently, so I don't know what you think of that.
I'd say 1 is played more straight.
Yeah, from memory, 1's like just a straight horror film, obviously with comical deaths, whereas this is really leaning into the comedy aspect, because obviously we've got the Iris, the old woman, who's basically got a book full of references to the old films. I think that was, if you're going to be referential, that's quite a clever way to do it. And the fact, well, I won't spoil that, but the fact she knows how things are going to happen just from like obsessively studying, I thought was a quite a good callback. And Tony Todd's character is used in every film, I believe, and this one is one of the stronger ones. I mean, maybe it has more of an impact because we know he's died recently, but it does feel like a good end to his character. And there's a mild spoiler, but I like that it ties into the beginning of the film as well, because he's always been a bit of a mysterious character. A lot of people theorize he's like a representation of death. So to flesh him out slightly but still keep that mystery, I thought was quite good. I never at any point really consciously thought, oh, this is an ugly film. I don't think it looked great, but I don't think it was ugly. And then when I checked the director's filmographies that you mentioned, because I didn't know who they were, I was like shocked that they're so incompetent, like in the past, because I thought that was an alright directed film. Lighting in the tattoo parlor was pretty good. I thought I liked that was a fake out because I've only seen the first trailer. There's a few fake outs in this. There's one in the trailer actually where the mum character that gets crushed in the sliding doors to the hospital, and that's not even in the film at all. And then obviously they really build the deaths up in this film. You get the glass in the ice, which is involved in it, but I was like terrified someone was going to ingest that because I can't do mouth stuff like that. It's horrible.
Yeah.
And then the big spoiler is the ending, which I think there's one film with a good ending, isn't there? Because most don't like that. Don't most of the characters just die at the end?
Yeah, but the endings are like my biggest gripe with this whole franchise because it doesn't usually tie in with the story. It's a lot of the times they will film like multiple endings and then do test screenings, and that just ends up deciding what the final's like. So they'll usually just cut
Really?
6 months later and then kill the characters. Um, this one kind of does that, but it's set up like earlier in the film, so it doesn't feel like. I don't think it would have been like a test screening like decision. It does feel like they set up this ending, so it does tie in a bit more better than the other films.
The way they kill them at the end is like so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it also is like, kind of annoying how referential it is because they're doing the whole blog thing again.
Yeah,
So
the mum almost gets hit by a log truck earlier in the film as well.
yeah, and also in the book that she's flicking through, you see like the log truck and a picture of it from the second film. They really, and the marketing as well. I saw images of on Twitter where they were driving around traffic with big log trucks.
Yeah, it's funny.
Which I'm sure would have caused a crash or two. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the ending. That dialogue was so awkward as well, where the guy was like, technically, they didn't die, they were just unconscious."
I didn't die.
Like, no human would talk like that. I don't know. I wouldn't want a happy ending mistake. So what the franchise is like, it felt a little bit tacked on that, and they probably didn't have multiple endings with this one. They just tacked that on to the end.
Yeah, this like whole death is always coming for you messages. It kind of gets really cheesy when like it's so done over in horror films over the monkey this year, but I don't know. It's such a one note thing. And it's never really um, explored um, in any form of more than one dimension in anything. Well, I think the first couple do a solid job at creating this
Survivor's Guild and
paranoia.
stuff like that.
Yeah, like second guessing yourself.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I don't know. It's just it does get a bit cheesy.
Yeah, I don't love the endings when they do that. But I kind of expected it at this point. You know that you mentioned the trailers. I think the fake outs were quite interesting and from the trailers because obviously the first thing they released was that tattoo parlor where they set up the guy Eric, who you obviously think that's his death is in the tattoo parlor, and I think it's really funny the way they kind of link his character to the family. So yeah, that the whole like premise in this is like I liked how they switched up because it's not like they aren't in the premonition at the start. They're just like a bloodline leading into the title. The title is like awful, by the way. That is like the title of like 7 other like horror franchises that are like
I
always
think
the
it's
most awful.
yeah, it's only awful because of the other films that have that title.
Yeah,
When you actually
it does
watch
make
this
sense.
film, it's actually quite a good title when you watch this film. But so,
Yeah, I guess.
Bloodlines and like is like another title like Genesis or Requiem, where if you see that,
Resurrection.
or I'm just doing Terminator straight, um, any of those on a film is probably really awful. But yeah, I agree. I think it's scarier when it's a family than like a group of friends.
Hmm.
This could have been really depressing if it wasn't leaning into the comedy more because one by one they're just picking people off. You keep having all these funeral scenes, and by like the third death, people just aren't even like phased anymore. But yeah, and then you see the chart of everyone deaths killed because all these people. The idea that they weren't supposed to exist is quite a cool idea. Instead of they were supposed to die. Death isn't messing about in this film because he even like kills people that get in the way. Like Eric, who is I've never seen a guy so abused from having piercings before.
Yeah, yeah. So Eric, the way he's not part of Def's plan because his mum had an affair, and he's not a child of his father who is part of the bloodline that are being killed.
That reveal was
I thought,
so funny.
yeah, I thought that was the funniest scene in the movie. Um, so yeah, he has that fake out kill in the parlor, and then he also has another fake out kill in the trailer where I think it's an ambulance hits him, and that's kind of the classic
Yeah.
Final Destination kill. And I was like, "Wait, are they actually gonna kill him like that?" But then it's another fake out.
Mm,
So I liked how they tied his character into how he was still like around to the other family, but he wasn't really part of Def's plan. I liked the way they kind of tied him into the movie.
fake outs in horror films are a tired thing, and well, fake out jump scares, I might say. Um, and this film is playing along with that trope to a comedic extent, where it's like he's kind of taking a mick because this guy's like on the verge of dying so much, and he just taking the piss. Um, but in the end, it does get him, and it's hilarious. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I don't know. There's something about the Final Destination films, like particularly this one of the first one. They make like the most stereotypically bully-looking characters be like the weakest, dumbest guy in the thing. Like in the first one, there's the guy who the two main characters who are always having beef together. But there's the other guy who's kind of scared of everything. He looks like so built up, and I don't know. It just seems really weird that those kind of films play against stereotypes in a way because it'd be something that I wouldn't expect. Like the guy in this, the brother with the peanut allergy, um, he is quite well built up, and he's like quite a unintelligent character, and they seems to be a recurring theme.
What did you think about like the opening premonition? Because that is kind of like the fun twist in this, where they go away from the formula and what the premonition, and it's in the 60s, right? When it's
Yeah,
set?
1968.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's the grandmother who goes up to this like new restaurant up in the air. I don't know who thought it was a good idea to build
I know.
a glass floor hundreds of feet up in the air when people dancing on it. But
What was
I
it?
mean,
It like finished 5 months ahead of schedule. Did they
5
say?
months ahead.
yeah,
To be fair, I've
yes,
been
the
in one of those. They are scary. It's quite
Mm.
cool. It's quite a niche one compared to every other premonition, but when you're up there, they are pretty creepy.
they exist.
5 months ahead of schedule. They exist. I've been in one like that. There's not as big as
Yeah.
that. I can't remember where it was. There's one in Berlin like that. Yeah, they
Mm.
exist.
Have you seen that they like do the same thing, but it's like open air. They just lift you up a table up on a crane, and you're like suspended
That's
in your
in
seat.
California. I've seen that where you literally just dangling off a wire on this dinner
Yeah.
table. Yeah,
It's
that's
crazy.
like what rich people do to like have dopamine. I think that is ridiculous. Yeah, this premonition's like middle for me, middle ground. They really, it really feels like this one's drawn out compared to some of the others. Because obviously you're building the Iris character up, which is getting proposed to and stuff. The Death is like really trying to cause a disaster the best he can. I mean, he uses a single coin in this. He's like, he's really trying his best on this one. That shithead kid gets a piano dropped on him, which is great. I think that's the second time they've done that in the series. I remember a kid gets crushed by glass in one of the films, I think. Yeah, they like crushing kids in this film. There's obviously the inclusion of Fingy's character. What's his name? Is it Blood? Tony Todd.
I don't know his name.
JB?
JB. JB. Tony
Okay.
Todd's character's in this.
His name's
Laura.
William Bloodworth, though.
Bloodless.
It's-
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know about you guys. I immediately like clocked that was in. I don't know about you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did as well.
I didn't because this is actually one of I kind of have a problem with Tony Todd in this movie because it's not like canon to the movies, but there's like always a fan theory that he is like the devil or like the Grim
Yeah.
Reaper, like out to
Yeah.
kill them.
I'm gonna be honest. I had forgotten about a lot of the first film, and when he showed up, I was like, "Yeah, this is exactly what I think it is." And I kind of think it would have been better to have kept it that way, and not him be some
Mhm.
survivor of one of the premonitions. There's just I prefer the ambiguity around his existence, than than what we got.
I also don't know how he's not dead yet either. If he's a survivor premonition, well, I guess that leaves it more
Oh,
ambiguous.
it's because the mum had to die first,
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
or the grandmother had to die first, and he was after her in
Oh,
the
he died
premonition.
after. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's kind of funny if you like go back now and he's like kind of messing with everybody. I guess he's kind of because they're all technically, I guess, different bloodlines of the families like that she saved in the restaurant in the other movies, I guess. So he's kind of helping them try to survive to kind of stop his eventual death, I guess. Not that it was
One thing-
planned, but
One thing I was thinking about is Eric wasn't even being hunted by death at this point in the tattoo parlor, surely. So that was all coincidental.
yeah,
So he's just
Just
like the
unlucky.
unluckiest guy in the world. That
yeah.
they
How
sent him.
does he end up getting hunted by death? Is it because of the tattoo parlor?
It's
It's
because he
because they say
interferes.
he messed with death.
Yeah, he's trying to get him to flatline, isn't he? And JB in the scene before.
Oh yes, of course, of course. Yeah, yeah.
He says you can't interfere with death or it'll get revenge. Which I don't know if that's in any of the other films. I think they've just added that on.
No, and well, I don't think anybody dies because of it, but in the fifth one, they get told by Tony Todd that if they kill somebody, they get their life
Yeah, which
instead
is
of
also
them.
in this.
That's kind of
But
what they're
the
trying to do
the
here.
interference thing is like a new thing where if you try and interfere, you get killed
Mhm.
instantly.
Yeah.
He gets that's the best death in the film. I think the way he dies and the other guy dies. I don't know if those machines can do that, but I don't really care. That is like
Maybe, I
getting
guess.
compressed by a magnetic like MRI machine and then a wheelchair going through your stomach.
he just has rings like all over his body.
And it implies he has one on his cock, I think.
Yeah.
It does, doesn't it? I thought I was seeing things. I couldn't tell if it was his belly button or if he actually had one down there. But there is a scene where it's like it's kind of a shot like down below and it's like pulling forward in the MRI. It was like, am I seeing this right?
No, I
I
think
thought I
that's
was like,
definitely what it is.
but then like the last one, I like how it when it was like going, you got the shot like going in MRI, and it like makes the logo of like the skull and then all the things coming through his body, all that the metal things in the wheelchair.
I didn't even
Um,
clock that was his tattoo the logo for the poster.
I think it was. Yes.
I didn't even clock that. I think you're right. Yeah.
I think it was. And then yeah, that is by far the best kill in the movie.
One of the best in
like,
the franchise, honestly.
Yeah, just body getting mangled and like when the piercings are just flying off. Oh, it's awful.
To be fair, I think it felt like an older death, like one of the first couple films. But I quite like the sister's death. You know, he gets picked up by the garbage truck.
Oh yeah, that's a really
she's
funny one.
That feels like an old school like fear one. The guy's like a gooner who's driving the truck. He's like not even looking at the girl, just swiping right. That's a good one. That felt like an old school one.
Yeah.
If they use like the older effects, I think it would be better because, like I said, the CG is not like bad in this, but like
No.
you're not gonna grimace at I didn't really grimace at any of the deaths in this. They're more just funny because of the effects. Where in 4 it just straight up ruins them.
Yeah, the MRI one did make me like cringe a little bit as he's like getting
Yeah,
sucked
that
in.
is like any like sort of body contortion ones. Actually,
Yeah.
the most I cringed in this entire film is it's like a 1 second scene. It's in the premonition where that woman's leg snaps when she's like falling. You can like blink and miss it, but there's like a sound effect of bones breaking. Like because of how realistic that was. That's like the most I grimaced in this. All the really complex deaths, like you said, are too stupid looking. But I don't think there's a bad kill in this from memory. The lawnmower is cool. It's
no.
really dragged out.
The mother's death is pretty cheap.
It's
Right to the
because
end,
Oh,
60
yeah.
seconds, and something lands on her.
she looks like Two-Face, and then like a lamppost lands on her. I was annoyed at first by that Eric one because the shop like blows up and it cuts away, and I was like, no way they're gonna cut away a kill in Final Destination.
Oh yeah.
I still don't know how he got away from that unscathed. I know he has a leather jacket on, is what he says,
Yeah.
but that's ridiculous.
Yeah, the kills have an interesting like kind of aspect to it because they're almost meta to it, like because of that first one where they think Eric's gonna get killed. She's like joking about all these ways how like the tree's gonna fall and the wind blower and the football was gonna like hit somebody, and then his sister just like randomly gets hit and all those things happen in the background. It's pretty funny. What's the other one? Bobby. So like that's the guy. He has a peanut allergy, which is like the most
Yeah.
cliche thing when somebody in a movie says that they have a peanut allergy.
It
So they
is.
kind of use it interesting way here, where they try to kill him with the peanut allergy and then bring him back to life, and he's like 2 seconds away from like doing it probably, but you can't hold out. And was it the vending machine
Yeah.
like coil?
Oh, the
that
vending
flies through?
machine
Yeah.
spring. Yeah.
The spring
Yeah.
like decapitates off his head. That had a good payoff because I was hoping we would get a vending machine kill. To be honest, what ends up happening is even funnier because I completely forgot about the vending machine and then it pays off at the end. I think it would have been funny if they played it where he actually wasn't allergic to peanuts because they did tease that at first.
Yeah.
That would have been like a funny, like death-related thing if he'd completely grown up out of a deathly peanut allergy. Yeah,
They have the dad,
mum's
the first
definitely-
kill, which is a dad, but they spoiled it in the trailer.
See, I didn't see that. So for me, that was really good.
The
Oh, really?
lawnmower. The thing is,
Yeah,
the
the
thing
lawnmower.
about that one in the trailer is like, you knew it was going to happen, but you didn't see like the blood or anything, which is they never really showed any of like the gore, which is an interesting side of it. But did they specifically show that it was the dad getting killed? Because I don't remember that.
They did, yeah.
I must have forgotten that.
I didn't see the trailers. I sometimes watch trailers after I've seen the films just because it helps like comment on them. And I watched it, and yeah, they like fully show that, but there's in that trailer I saw, there's like 2 fake outs. There's a scene that's not even in the film, which is the doors to the hospital, and then
And that is that the guy with the peanut
tattoo
allergy?
studio one. No, it's the mum. I think she like gets trapped in the doors,
Oh, okay.
the revolving doors, and then there's a tattoo one.
Yeah.
which
Oh,
ends up
yes,
being
there
fake out.
is. I knew there was a revolving doors one. I'd forgotten
Yeah,
about that.
that's not even in the film.
No, it's not.
So I don't know if they screened it like you said earlier, or that was just planted there as a fake out because the mum is quite a key part at the end of the film. So I'm assuming it was just never going to be put in. Yeah, there's no bad deaths in it. Like I said, I didn't see the trailer before, and it's probably the most built up one is that garden scene where the dad gets his head sawn by a lawnmower. So that was making me a bit nervous, and they go pretty well with the gore on that. They do like a super close up of his face. You can't really tell what's happening, but his face is getting like messed up. There's also
So
one
good.
we've not spoke about. Iris gets pretty gnarly killed by the
Oh yeah.
wind thing going
Yes,
through
this
her
is like
mouth.
easily the most comical like they've ever went, where she's like talking to
Yeah,
death and like he's like sneakily trying to kill her with like light going through and reflecting and burning uh like a
like in a
rope.
plant pot. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then she just fully acknowledges that she's about to die, and then fire
Mhm.
extinguisher. I don't even know how that works. Like technically, shoots the thing through her mouth. That reminded me of like a. It's a bit slanderous, but I remember like a 5 or 4 death where like because the CG on
Yeah,
that one
but
wasn't great, but it was pretty. It was a cool way to do that.
why does she have spikes all over her house when she's
I
scared of being
thought
killed?
that.
I don't.
Yeah, she's making it as hazardous as possible.
No, I thought I was going crazy. I genuinely thought I was going crazy. Like, is the point of being able to live just make your place look as like a big of a shithole as possible?
Maybe you should just
And
keep other people away from her,
yeah, I think it might be that.
and also stop her from going outside. Um, she's also got a pool that's quite deep, evidently by the end of the film. So she didn't plan that through, but I don't think she ever intended on walking outside. I mean, she only did it to prove a point. Um, that's quite a cool looking set, to be fair. But yeah, I want to think about the logistics of her building that and how she didn't die either.
Is it explained was there people before her or like
It's not
or
explained
she
in the
been
film.
surviving
I
for
think
40
she's
years
just,
like that?
I think she's sort of just there, unless it's like a house that was abandoned that she's gone to. But
Oh yeah, no, she
uh,
left when her husband died, I think.
yeah, they
Mm.
never explain how he died. I don't think, but
Yeah.
obviously it would have been by death.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think you're supposed to think about stuff too much in
No.
these things.
It's easily the most like death has just been like trolling them since like I always think of the first, the very first kill in the first one where the guy strangles to death in the hot tub or not the
Oh,
tub,
That was
the bath.
horrible in the bathroom.
Yeah.
yeah, that is awful. I like the way in that one. See, that kind of gets creative. You have like the water that's coming along the floor, and
Yeah.
it goes back um, after he died. But yeah, that is tough. But the girl, that girl from getting hit by the ambulance in the first one, is never not hilarious. It's so
Yeah.
funny.
There's a really brutal version of that one in another film where you like see the girl after like contorted around the wheel. That one's always stuck in my head. She gets like hit by a truck and then they show the aftermath. Um, I would have been so angry if they did like a glup shitter like ambulance hit again, but it was a fake out look up. And they also do it at the log truck at the end when they're trying to get back to the house. And also, coins in this are just like Death's favorite weapon because he causes like 2 catastrophes with a coin. I don't know if it's the same coin. I don't think it is, but
No,
as soon as
the
that
one.
orb,
It's the same
The
thing.
hot.
That's the point. You don't see it was in the
Yeah.
book. It was in
okay,
the
it's
book
in the
that he
boat.
had, and then it fell out, and then
Okay,
like that grandma at the hospital picked it up,
yeah,
and then she dropped it, and then it went on the train tracks, and it stopped them from
yeah.
moving, which is what caused the train to derail. It was the same coin.
Okay, I thought it could have been. That's just ridiculous. That ending. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, the ending's just a bit.
How do you even prevent that? I don't even know.
You don't. It's just fully trolling at that point.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
They teased it at the start though, because like the first shot is a train track and a red car going over it, and that's exactly what happens at the end.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I feel bad for the dad, who's like the only one that isn't on like death's list. He just
Oh
has
my
no
god,
family now.
he's been through it.
Yeah.
To be fair, he probably dies at the end because that like takes so many houses
Maybe.
out with it. That's like a
I
full
don't know.
level.
It was trolling hard. Like you probably avoided everybody else. It was just like hard going for them.
We just need to stop this with the way those kind of movies look.
I don't think it looked that bad, to be honest.
No, it's just like this. There's just such this standard glossy look. Shiny
It
to
looked
these
like a
films.
Scream sequel, which is both like it's kind of slanderous.
Um,
That's
it
what it
looked-
reminded me of.
and like these really heavy digital backdrops. I don't know. It just yeah, really don't like. And it maybe it was worse from watching um, Final Destination right before it.
Yeah.
But no,
James
I still-
Wan's like genuinely a good director in these movies. I think like he's got like some like crane shots like all over the movies. There's like a split diopter in free. I think he's always doing something interesting rather than just like coverage. He's kind of trying to like create tension in every scene. Because
yeah,
I think specifically his films aren't just kill after kill after kill. Like they're kind of
yeah, I agree.
there's some melodrama mixed in,
Mm,
which I kind of
yeah.
like.
Hopefully, one day studio films get like juice again, but I just don't think they will. Like legacy sequels, I
Yeah.
can't see looking like because even though I know what you did last summer sequel we watched looked pretty good.
Oh my
Uh,
god.
like I'm really
The
hoping
new
one
one.
day. No, the original sequel.
Oh yeah, the original.
That looked pretty good.
Mhm.
2009 or early 2000s. But yeah, the trailer played for that new one for the first time I've seen it in the cinema. That just looks exactly what you're talking about, like a Netflix film. It looks so
Yeah, it looks
generic.
awful.
It
I
does.
mean, everyone's glazing that clown in a cornfield, but that just looked like a really generic
Yeah.
Gen Z like slasher to me as well.
Like what are we doing with like directors, man? It feels odd because I partially just want to blame the studio system for all those films looking like that. But then again, like the directors there are not even really doing anything with the camera. And it's Bloodlines, and I'm sure it's going to be the same with I know what you did last summer, and it sucks. It really does. Just nothing interesting about it. Same with
Yeah, it's not something like specific to Final Destination. I think a lot of films look like this. I mean, I think it looks like Companion in many ways. I like
yeah.
Companion.
I don't think Companion looks horrendous, but it's nothing good.
But I don't think this looks horrendous. It's like
Yeah.
competent.
Yeah, it just look, it looks like I didn't even think about how it looked really when I was watching it. Which it is like a lot of
Yeah.
films these days, which I think were slightly better than we were before. I think there was a period where we were getting uglier films, but I don't think we're ever going to go back to like the 90s where the worst like unoriginal horror films still looked like they had love and care put into how they looked.
Yeah.
Like a Scream ripoff looks like better than most films today. I know
True.
we did
It
last summer.
did. It did. That's because of streaming. Wonderful. And you get the Netflix CEO who's just constantly hammering on, oh yeah, like the theatre system is outdated. Like Zack Snyder saying, oh yeah, like my movie is like the most popular film of all time because like, this many people watched it on Netflix. Shut up, man. That is not how it works. It's so stupid.
So, that Superman trailer kind of has some of the problems we're talking about as well. I
The
think.
thing is, it doesn't look like those kind of standard glossy. It just looks somehow even worse. The grading on it is eyesore stuff. It looks really bad. It looks horrendous, and I think it sucks because I think this iteration of Superman from that trailer, it seems like they're trying to do something interesting with him and Lois, especially in the beginning of that trailer. But everything else outside of that, I'm like, I do not give a rat's ass about all this big CGI battle stuff, and I don't really care about any of the characters, and especially when your film looks as disgusting as that. It is, and like all those fans will just try and tell you like, oh, then oh, like people are never happy. It's like just be happy, like just make a good-looking film, and we will be. Really not that difficult.
I do just miss the 90s.
Yeah.
I never lived
Yeah.
through it, but I miss it. Yeah.
Well, neither did I. I just mean I miss the movies.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. I miss
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Final Destination Bloodlines. Our thoughts. We're gonna go into like a tier list of all the kills. Kind of put all the films kills up against each other, see which is the best. Because I think some of the ones in here they might be up there. There's some pretty good ones.
Let's go.
Okay, so we've got. I think we're gonna start with the premonitions. So the flashbacks or the flash forwards, I guess, that they have at the start of each movie. Some of them have two as well. So we've got everyday trauma, ones that when you still think about when it happens in your everyday life. Good carnage, just some really good kills. Sleazy but fun. I put these in because I think a lot of the later sequels kind of get very sleazy, but they can be fun sometimes with good kills. Forgettable. That's debatably worse than awful, I guess, with these movies,
Yeah,
because that's like the
true.
worst thing you can do is do a forgettable kill, and then just awful. It's awful. So what were the very first premonition, the very first thing in the first movie, the Flight 180?
It's
It's gotta
good
be top.
carnage.
I think it's got to be top. I think it
I think it's
traumatized.
up
Like,
here.
The thing is,
You know what?
with like these ranking things, I think there's things that you think about every day, but like the kill itself is not that good. Like obviously people are scared of flights, but at the
Yeah.
same time, like the kills in that I think is good carnage. So where are we finding this balance?
I think you just find the balance, and I think the kills in that are good. I still think about like Guy was getting like those people getting burned in that plane crash. It's so horrible.
Still think it's
I think it like actually traumatized a generation for planes. I think it's like almost it's not quite Jaws level, but I think it had a similar impact
The,
of
yeah.
like
The timing of the release of this film is a very funny because it comes out at the very last second that you can do a plane crash movie when they just walk off the plane and like nobody cares. It's literally probably like the last 4 months that you could do that. You could not.
yeah.
You couldn't do this premonition in now. Like there's no way the security would let them do any of what they done. That plane is not taking off after someone threatens to blow it up. So I think that's what makes it a very unique, like pre or before 9/11 movie. And I think that kind of makes it kind of special. Premonition.
Yeah,
I think
I
it should
think
be
it's
everyday
one of
trauma.
the best. Yeah.
9/11 has had irreversible impact on the film industry. It's crazy.
Yeah.
My favorite Letterboxd review is just the one on I Am Sam. It's like people settled in to watch his 4 months after 9/11. It's so
Where's number two?
It'll be the log truck.
Oh yeah,
Route
I don't see it.
Route 203 is it?
Yeah.
That is
this
also
is
top
everyday
for me.
trauma. This is everyday trauma.
There has generally been about
This is
5 or
one.
6 occasions where I've been behind a truck with logs on it, and I change lane and drive away from it. That's traumatized my everyday life.
I think this is the most famous kill in the whole like franchise.
Oh
I
yeah.
think it's more famous than the first premonition. If people are mentioning Final Destination, they either say like the sunbeds. What's the people I speak to? It's like the sunbeds, the log trucks, the plane. It's definitely up there. I'm the same. Whenever we're behind a log truck or any truck with heavy cargo, I'm like, oh my god, we're about to get like decapitated. This one's also got really good depth outside the logs. I think someone gets like burnt by tar. It's like a ridiculous car pile up as well.
The
Yeah,
tar one's number 5, not this
I was on
one.
number 5. Okay, that's the bridge.
Yeah.
I think there's a motorbike crash in this one, isn't
Yeah.
there? Yeah, that one's good. This one's like pure carnage. It's probably the most chaotic one.
Mhm. I think the first like 3 or 4 maybe as well gets no, not 4 because 4 is terrible, but the first
Yeah,
3
four.
gets well is like it's all like realistic situations. I think like Bloodlines, you're not going up to a restaurant in the sky. This one you are driving down the motorway every day,
Well,
and
you
that's what I think
can.
it's what it does well.
The issue with Bloodlines is you can do that because I've been to one, but it's so niche that like it's not an
Yeah.
everyday like trauma. You can just
Speaking
easily
of
avoid that. Yeah,
almost everyday stuff, a roller coaster.
I'd have that where you've put it. To be honest, sleazy bit fun.
Nah.
These are a bit fun. Good carnage. Good carnage.
Good carnage. Good carnage. Good
Okay,
carnage.
it was a little weak from my memory. The concept's cool, but the actual kills aren't like amazing. But
Yeah.
I've never been scared of roller coasters. I think if you're scared of roller coasters, this would freak you out. I love roller coasters though, so it's like a personal thing.
Yeah, I like the tension around it. I don't know if any particular like person that dies on it is memorable compared to
No.
these two.
I don't really
Um,
remember a specific moment from that. I remember someone falling off and like hitting the side of the thing, but I don't really remember specifics of this one. It's not as good as the previous two.
I think it's still up there. This one, however, is not. This one's very like
It's not
America
forgettable though.
specific.
It's awful.
I don't. Yeah,
It
it's
is
not
It's not
forgettable.
forgettable because somebody gets hit by a tire and it is quite funny.
Yeah.
If they had like
Um,
old effects for that, it could be maybe better. But it's so, every kill is terrible because of the blood. It looks like video game blood.
It looks like PNG images like dropping like buildings on people.
Yeah, like
It
a
looks
Dolby
that
After
bad.
effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it looked better, it'd probably be in sleazy bit fun, but it just looks shocking.
It does.
Also, again,
Does
it's
not
really
start
niche.
off the movie well.
Yeah, it's also really niche as well because NASCAR is such an American thing.
Yeah. You're there to watch the crashes, and then it goes really wrong. And
Yeah, you get bored if they don't crash. Yeah.
um.
Oh, we
Oh,
missed
there's
the
2 in that
train.
movie though.
Yeah, I think this one's
Also,
really good.
oh yeah, so we did the train for free.
The
I
train.
think
I've completely forgotten this one.
Good carnage.
Yeah,
I-
so in the third one they escape, but they're on a train. I don't know what city it is, but they all end up being on a subway train. And another premonition happens where it crashes and kills them all.
Oh yeah.
I think it's quite impactful 'cause it's the end of the film, and I actually quite liked Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character in the third one.
Oh yeah.
I guess it is not helped that it's at the end though. A lot of people forget about it. I think it's a good one. I'd be
Sleazy
happy
a bit
with it.
fun.
I'd be happy with it there. I'd put in good carnage though.
Yeah. It's not as good as the roller coaster.
No. Next should
The
be
bridge.
the bridge.
North Bay Bridge.
It's actually a little bit
It's-
forgettable for me, but when I've seen it, I did like it.
Sleazy fun. I think it's sleazy fun.
I only remember
I
the
think somewhere in
start of it.
between these. There's some good
I remember-
kills in there.
Don't they jump
Mm.
in between like the collapsed sections? I don't remember a lot of it.
Getting impaled by all those poles.
Oh yeah,
Someone does.
it's a bit too similar to 2 for me. It's not as good, but I do
Yeah.
like it.
I think the kills that they do later on to each person is better than the premonition.
Yeah.
Mostly.
mm,
So yeah, Sleazy's a bit fun. Some
We don't
very
have
bad
the-
CGI in there.
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree missed one as well. Oh yeah,
It's
and 4
Bloodlines.
as a second one at the cinema
there?
where they're watching a
Oh,
3D
yeah.
movie
Oh
and the screen
yeah.
blows up and shoots everything at them.
That is just sleazy. I think it's
That
better
film
than
Yeah.
sucks, but that kill, like those kills are so funny.
That's like the definition of sleazy but fun.
Mm. No,
We don't have the
And
newer
then
ones.
the
the new one.
Bloodlines.
Oh, we
Mm,
do. I say Good Carnage. I think it's quite good.
I think
Yeah.
it's sleazy, but
I wouldn't call it sleazy.
yeah, somewhere in the
Yeah,
middle.
But
I'm
does any
pretty-
kills stand out from that sequence, to be honest?
The piano is good.
The
Specific
piano
kills.
is quite funny.
Actually, that when they listen to raindrops falling on my head and there's like 8 bodies
Oh, yeah.
hitting the ground.
Oh
Second
yeah,
greatest instance of
getting
using that in cinema.
dropped. Yeah.
I don't know, I think it's quite,
Yep,
and
the kid
also
dying, yeah.
Tony Todd watches his mum get like burnt alive in front of him. That's pretty horrible. I don't know. I
True.
think it's quite a good one. Not the best, but I think it's good.
I think it's a fun sequence. I don't, maybe the kills aren't as good as the other ones here, but yeah, I think it should be here.
There's a guy who gets like trapped in like the elevator thing and like
Oh, yeah,
crushed
he
as
gets
it starts to drop down.
Oh yeah,
That's not the first.
yeah,
That's quite funny.
yeah. There's some decent ones in there. Right, that's all the premonitions. What is like the kill that you think of when you think of this franchise?
Gymnastics.
Yeah, and gymnastics.
Yeah.
Gymnastics is like the top one for me. That's the one I think about the most. It is the worst one.
Cinematically, it's like not even that impressive. It's just the way
That's one.
it's so
But
real.
and it's just the specific things that happen, like stepping on like a pin thing, and then the way her body just when she lands, it's awful.
It's like something you
Mhm.
see out of a different film, like Suspiria or something, like with the birds
Yeah.
crashing. It's played so
Oh,
straight compared to a lot of different films. I put it at the top.
I think it's the closest any of the sequels get to like 1 and 3, like building the suspense around their kills.
Yeah, but I'd have that like top because it's horrible.
top, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best kill for me.
I always
Yeah,
think
that's not
the Sunbed
ridiculous.
one, but that's because it's like sleazy or Good Carnage.
I
I mean, it's
think-
so ridiculous.
What's this
I don't
one?
think any of us use sunbeds,
Sunbed
but I
kill.
would never use one now
Sunbed.
because of this
Yeah.
kill. So I think it honestly might be everyday trauma.
Yeah.
Cooked
Wait,
Alive
is that
also.
2 or 3?
3.
It's free.
Has the
the build
greatest
up's
cut in the
actually funny
movie
as well.
or in the franchise when they're in the sunbeds and it cuts to both their funeral.
Oh,
yeah, the
yes.
coffins, yeah.
Yeah, both the coffins are next to each other.
Yeah, the build up to that's funny as well because it's such a sleazy like place. The manager just does not care. Yeah, that's a good one. For some reason, I always think of Thingy being killed in the. I think it's Isaac Palmer getting killed in the massage room. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
of that one a lot.
He
because
is
he gets
the
his head
definition
crushed.
of sleaze.
He's like such a sleazy.
I-
It's because the
I-
character.
I've actually gotten all of
Yeah.
these.
Is having like I can't remember what it's called. Is it acupuncture? on his
Acupuncture.
back?
Yeah.
And he like
Oh,
it goes
God.
into his body, he falls off the chair, and then like the
And then a
praying
Buddha
monkey
lands
or
on his
whatever
head.
it is, yeah, like lands on his head. But that's because of the character more than the kill. But that's really sleazy.
I'm trying to think of like the iconic kills.
There's the one in a gym. Is that in 3 as well?
Yes,
Where
it's
he's using the weight machine. I think this is proving 3's the most memorable.
no,
for
it's
me,
not that
to be
guy.
honest. I don't know who it is.
It's this guy.
He has his like head crushed by the weights, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The
So
machine
there's
malfunctions.
blades behind his head, and they cut as he's like using them, and the weights just fly over and like crush his head. I think it's also sleazy and fun. A lot of the
Yeah.
5 ones are just like very sleazy.
Oh, is that 5? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Also, something that I noticed about all these characters is really funny. I don't think it's consistent with every film, but if you look at the surnames of people, they all have directors as their surname, like Carpenter. What else is here? Wagner,
Romero,
Cunningham.
Friedkin.
Yeah, Billy Hitchcock. Alex Browning. I don't think it's consistent over every film.
Nah. Carpenter as well. They mention Clear Rivers in the new one actually. There's like a trying to name the hospital.
I really like the very first kill in the first movie, where
Yeah, because it's really like realistic, I guess.
it's
The way
really
they-
eerie.
Yeah, 'cause he's by himself. And it's really quiet.
Yeah, and they
Does he
think he's killed
score?
himself because his
Oh
friends have
yeah,
died in the plane crash. I think it's
yeah.
really an interesting aspect of it.
Mm, yeah, I
I
think
don't know where
that's
it would
good
go in.
carnage.
It doesn't really go in
Yeah,
any of these descriptions, but
Yeah,
I'll
it
put it
doesn't
there.
it's not
feel
sleazy
like.
though.
Nah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Should we just go through top to bottom rather than?
Yeah, this is the kid that gets crushed by
yeah, I remember that
the
'cause he was
glass.
a kid. Yeah, it's very quick, isn't it? You just
Yeah,
get crushed by glass. Um, it's not forgettable. I guess it's there because they kill a kid. It's just really
um,
quick. Or does his mum
yeah,
fall out? Of
he's also at the dentist before it, which is
Yeah,
almost everyday trauma, but they don't do anything with it.
yeah, it's like a weird fake out.
Yeah.
Uh,
How did his mum die? Oh, decapitated between the elevator doors. I think it's
I don't remember.
forgettable because I
Yeah,
did forget how she dies.
yeah, I don't remember that.
Okay, so this is the woman in two. You know when they're in the field and the paramedics are trying to get like car out of the car, and it
Oh,
activates like the bag on the car and it pushes her head into the pipe.
oh, that's a good one. Yeah, the pipe was through a skull. Yeah,
Mm.
I'd put that.
Yeah, it just sleazy
Even
but fun.
yeah,
This one, I think this is one of the best in the franchise, where the barbed wire fence flies through his body.
only gets torn like apart.
Yeah,
It's really like goofily done though, because like, isn't he standing for a second and then he falls apart?
yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Claire Rivers, which she's like the one that survives from the first film, and she dies in the explosion in the hospital in Final Destination 2.
I don't
Um,
actually remember that.
yeah, I don't think it's the greatest kill for a character that's returning.
No, I remember the hospital exploding, but I don't remember how specifically she's killed. So I'd put it there. For main
He is
character,
also killed in the exact same explosion.
okay. Yeah,
This one's maybe the best ending because it's the only one where I think the actual main characters survive. And it's a barbecue at the end of two, and the barbecue explodes.
oh yeah. I can't remember specifically how that happens, but I do remember that. Isn't it?
It's
Is it in the background?
this guy saves him from getting hit by the ambulance, and then at the end of the film, he's like making a barbecue for the survivors of the film, and the barbecue blows
Yeah.
up in his hand, like lands on the table.
Okay. Oh, and yeah, yeah, that is a good one.
Um, I don't even remember what this is.
What
It's
does
the
it
people from the
say?
second, but I don't know what the wood chipper accident is.
Oh, do they
I-
fall into a wood chipper?
They must do. But I don't even remember that.
I don't know.
Let's have a look.
I don't know.
That sounds good, but I don't remember it.
Um, I don't remember this one either. So
What does it say?
it's a car engine fan that kills him.
Uh, no, I don't either. I remember his character, but I don't remember how he dies.
This one's quite fun in five, I think. It's when they're in the warehouse and the nail gun goes through her head.
Oh, shoot her in the head.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. That's a good one.
This one's forgettable. It's in three. It's like one of the people they forget was at the premonition, and she just randomly dies when they remember.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you won't remember that one. Crushed by a Sign. That's the Final Destination
But-
3.
Was that the very end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, no, not the very kind of the
About the
very end.
first
Yeah,
one where that happens. I don't know. I don't really remember it, to be
I
honest.
think it's sleazy. It's when you know the like fire. It's like the 4th of July event at the end of 3.
Oh yeah.
He gets killed there. This is the woman that gets hit by the wheel. In
Oh,
Oh,
5
with
well,
the
yeah.
oh, that's so funny.
That's a really good one.
Is that
That's
sleazy?
actually quite good. Yeah.
This guy just dies like in this one. So I guess forgettable.
Okay.
Yeah, forgettable.
Yeah.
Same with that one, I guess. I'm gonna put her there because it's Elizabeth Winstead. And
Yes.
nobody forgets about her. Terry, she's the one that gets hit by the bus in 1, which is I don't think her
That's
character's
good
memorable.
carnage.
Yeah,
It is.
the kill's
it
great.
is.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
That's also killed by a wheel. That might be the one I was thinking of. That might be somebody else.
I don't know which one it is.
It's funny.
Yeah,
either
I'm not
way.
sure. They look exactly the same. I think that's the
Mm.
woman that dies in the NASCAR thing.
Mm.
This is the guy that's really racist in 4,
Oh yeah. Does he get hit
and he
by
gets
like
dragged
a...
across the street.
Oh yeah.
By what?
He's only...
I don't.
I just remember his character being racist. I don't remember how he dies.
He like goes outside the guy's house, and he has like a cross, I think, but he gets dragged across the street and set on fire by like his own truck.
Oh yeah.
This is the one where the lawnmower goes over the stone, and it shoots the stone across into the hairdresser.
Which
So
one
she's
is
like
that?
walking out. 4.
Oh
Yeah.
dear. Four. is
Pretty-
the
I
good
remember
one.
that It's okay.
Yeah, forgettable. Yeah.
This guy's also in 4. Oh, this is the guy he gets hit across the fence, and his like body goes through the fence, and it's like 3D.
like
Which one?
Oh, like a blend, like a
4.
grater.
It's like the hydrogen tank. Like he gets hit by that, and he flies into the metal fence, and it like
goes
cuts him
through
up
it.
into chunks,
Oh, I remember
like
that.
a cheese grater.
It looks so awful.
Yeah. It's sleazy but fun.
They're trying to do like a 3D thing.
Yeah. That's the guy that gets like sucked into the pool.
Oh, that was good.
Oh,
That's like a memorable one actually. His ass gets stuck in the suction.
Yeah.
And the water
Yeah.
tank fill up with blood. It's really good, that one. I'd put that in good carnage, to be honest. But I guess it is sleazy.
You won't remember this one, I don't think. He's like a random guy at the NASCAR thing, and they remember that he's there, and he's in hospital, and like the bathtub above him like overflows and just
Oh
lands on him.
yeah.
Hit by an ambulance. That's also in 4. They basically just recreate the kill from 1.
Boring.
But maybe
I'd
awful
put-
just because
I'd
of how
put it in
cheap it is.
awful.
The redo the
Yeah,
kill.
I agree. Awful.
Crushed. Oh, I think this is the woman that dies in the 3D movie when the explosion goes through the screen.
Oh.
I guess
don't
forgettable
remember
just
that
because you
well.
don't remember that she dies in it.
Yeah.
This is just another one of the women from 4 that you forget that exists. That's the main character from the end of 4. This one I really like. This one's got some like really funny like
Which one is
tension
it?
around it. She's the teacher from 1.
How's
So
she
her-
die?
She
Oh
drops-
yes.
She drops vodka
Yes.
in her like TV monitor or computer monitor,
Yes.
Oh,
blows
Where
up,
she's
hits her in the
yeah,
neck,
blows
and then
up.
she goes to grab the towel and the knife's fall on her.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
Alex comes in and grabs a knife from
That's
him, and he's
good,
like, it's at a time when the FBI are like following him and thinking
And
he's killing
he
everybody.
holds up a knife. What am I doing?
Yeah.
I thought in
which
Good
is I think
Carnage,
it's I think that's a reference to North by Northwest maybe, because that's also happens in that. Falls from a building. Oh, this is the eye
the eye
surgery.
doctor. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good. The
Um,
build up to that one's good.
I don't think it's quite good enough to go up here.
But doesn't the laser like burn her eyes a little bit, and then she falls
Yeah,
out
but
of
it's
the
really
window?
it's really sleazy. um, I'm not even sure who that is.
I don't either.
I think he might be five. Oh yeah, it's five. I don't know if you remember, but one of the guys accidentally kills him and like takes his life in five, and then the very last scene of five is him finding out that the guy had like 1 week to live or something, and that's when the plane flies through the pub building, a pub roof, and kills him. Which is this guy. It's quite. That's one of the funnier endings. Um, this one's kind of awful, I guess.
Which one is it?
It just said it's the I don't remember the actor's name, but like it's the guy that you know his face. It's
Oh,
just a randomly
yeah,
a
it's in
wrench gets
Anchorman.
thrown at him.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Peter Friedkin. Oh, that's the guy that tries to kill the
Oh, it's
main
like,
protagonist in five.
yeah, he's the villain.
I think it's kind of forgettable. I don't even fully remember how he dies exactly.
They're having like a fight, I think. So
Yeah, I
it's
think they
quite
just
forgettable.
I think they just kill him. I really like this one. It's when the train they think they saves him on the train, and then he's
Oh
next,
yeah.
and then the
And
thing
there's
under the
the piece
train
of
flies and cuts
metal.
his head off.
Just
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
a good one.
That's funny.
Um. Oh, so this is like five. Oh, we didn't talk about this. How five ends at the start of one, when they walk onto the
Yeah.
plane. It's like the greatest twist in cinema
So
That is such
history.
a
brilliant.
good ending.
Yeah. It's so good.
I'll put it up there since that's not forgettable. It's the same cow. Crushed by the sign at the end of one, when they're in
That's
France,
just
Oh
really.
and
yeah.
like this very like fake
That's
set that's very
forgettable.
obviously just a studio backlot instead of
Yeah,
France.
it's oh my god, it is. That's forgettable.
um, oh, this is the most disrespectful kill in the whole franchise. When the main protagonist from one, he dies off screen in between one and two because a brick landed on his
Get
head.
hit by a break. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awful.
And it's just told for you for like a newspaper article when they're researching
I'd
like what
forgotten
happened in
about
the first
that.
one. Yeah. Oh, this one's pretty good. It's the guy that the ladder goes through his eyes.
Oh, that is a
Oh
good one.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, is that good Carnage? Is that good enough to be up there?
Which film is that?
It's two. He like sets his house on fire. He throws spaghetti out his window and
no,
then
it is,
slips in the
yeah.
spaghetti and the
The
ladder
build
goes
up
through
that's
him.
really good. Yeah, I'd say Good Carnage.
Okay, right.
Right.
We're now on to Bloodlines.
Bloodlines. This is
Um,
forgettable.
Iris.
That's
This
forgettable.
is sleazy.
Maybe
I
awful.
don't.
It
think
is
it's
kind of
awful.
bad.
It's
It
not
is kind of
forgettable.
bad.
It's not forgettable. It's just really sudden. You
It's,
know
it's
it's gonna
kind of
happen
Doesn't
bad.
though
look
at the
good.
same time. No, it looks like a Final Destination 4 kill.
It does.
It's not great.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Howard
Um,
is
Good Carnage,
crazy
maybe.
fun.
I think it'd be good
Ah,
Carnage if it didn't have it spoiled for me.
I didn't have it spelled. I think it's Good Carnage, but if
I think it's
Yeah.
sleazy fun.
I think the build up to it's good.
there's a lot of build up.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
glass
it's a good one.
and the lemonade. It's really good.
True.
Maybe it's sleazy.
Yeah,
Dunno,
let's
it's a
just
hard
put it
one.
there.
Julia. kind of sleazy.
I think it's a
Sleazy,
good
yeah.
one. Yeah, sleazy, but
Sleazy.
I really like that one.
Yeah. Eric, that's an all timer. I think. I don't.
I think
Is
it's
it up here?
It's.
up
I think
there.
it's top end good carnage. Top end good carnage.
It's not really everyday trauma, but
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
neither's the gymnastics one.
True,
no,
but the
I
gymnastics
would
one
never
is
try
so
gymnastics
painful.
because of that. I think.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
It's one of the best in the
Bobby,
franchise that everyone.
Yeah.
sleazy but fun.
It's kind of forgettable because I think Julius and Howard's are better.
I don't think the peanut
It's like
allergy
an
aspect of it isn't forgettable.
it's like an afterthought to Eric's death. But yeah, the peanut stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
is
guess.
good. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
it's kind of hard to separate their deaths, honestly.
Yeah.
Darlene, forgettable.
These
Uh,
last three,
it's
yeah,
borderline
these last
awful.
three are kind of forgettable. I think,
Yeah.
these
I
last
don't-
two are kind of
They're not
so
forgettable.
cheap.
Sleazy.
I don't think the
Yeah, but they're
ending's
not
very good though.
Yeah,
don't
it's
think they're
not sleazy
awful.
fun though, 'cause it's just like
Yeah.
It's not awful, but it's not forgettable. But I also don't think it's sleazy. But fun.
yeah,
know.
I agree.
I guess I find there that they're pretty meh deaths because they both die in the same way.
Yeah. True. Yeah,
Mm.
definitely not a forgettable ending though. I think.
No, it's very stupid. Eric's is definitely the one from that film because I think each film has like one standout.
Mm-hmm. The movie might have been better if Eric was the lead. Honestly,
I think it's the
I think
best.
he was a
actor.
standout for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to see more Final Destination movies?
Yes, I'd like 4 more. I'd like 10.
4.
Maybe.
I've never get the sort of format where you're doing something wrong, you can get bored of it.
Yeah.
You can be endlessly creative. It's like Mortal Kombat, which is funny because they're actually playing that in this film. You can be endlessly creative with like violent deaths.
Yeah. I mean I think the responses from this are really high so far. What does it have? I think it's a 90 plus on Rotten Tomato.
It's got
I
a
don't know if that's
decent.
from the critics or the audiences. There's a 3.4 on Letterboxd with a really
Yeah.
good curve. I think this one's going to be successful.
Not many people have seen it yet either. To be fair, it's only got 28k. It'll be at like probably 500,000 in a week, knowing Letterboxd now.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think this one's going to do well. I just hope they don't screw it up.
Maybe
'Cause
space out a few years again.
Yeah.
Not 11 years or whatever it was, but
I guess the safe option is like to do one of the families that is like in between the grandmother and her dying.
you can go super ridiculous. You could go in the past, have a whole film set in the past, because death is like an eternal thing. So I don't know. Maybe go far back in the past or something. That would be my pitch to achieve it. Because if we're gonna do modern over and over again, it might get a bit old.
It'll be sad now. We don't have Tony Todd though. The only ones Tony Todd aren't in are the bad ones.
You said
So
that,
that's
but
not a good sign.
we might have Tony Todd. They might AI
CGI.
recreate him.
Oh god. Not a nice thought.
Yeah.
And he'll never die.
Yeah. Hopefully they don't screw it up. But yeah, that's our thoughts on Final Destination Bloodlines. Let us know what you thought of it in the comments. Like and subscribe, and we'll be back next week for Mission Impossible, which I hope also isn't another. Lives up to be not a franchise disappointment. Yeah. See you next week.
Bye.